My name is Pearl and welcome to my Swift tutorial for beginners lesson 7. Today we'll be learning about functions, how to declare them, and how they can be usefully used in our code. By the way, check out my latest app on the App Store, Pearl Calculator. Now let's get into the video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and explain to you what a function is in Swift programming. So what is a function? Well, a function is basically just a little chunk of code that performs a certain task and that can be named. And whenever you call your named chunk of code or your function with your function's name, then your computer will perform that specific little task that your function was programmed to do. Okay, now that you know what a function is, let's learn how to declare a function. Okay, so in order to create a new function in my new playground I have created right here, I'm just going to first go on to a new line and then type in func, which is the keyword for function. Then you'll want to type in your function's name. And you want your function name to be on target and clear about what your function is to do and what your function's function is. So let's say this function that we have declared right here is for adding somebody's first name with their last name and creating their full name by adding their first name and last name together. So let's name this function create full name. And after my function name, I'll just include 2 parentheses. For now, we'll leave these parentheses blank, and in the next video, we'll learn more about this set of parentheses right here, including more about input parameters, which is what these parentheses are for. But for now, we'll just skip over them. And after my parentheses, I'll just put a pair of curly brackets. And inside these 2 curly brackets is where we'll put the code that will run if our function called create full name is called. And let's just go ahead and write some code for our function. So the first thing I'm going to write in these 2 curly brackets is I'm just going to declare 2 variables, first name, which will be a string, and also last name, which will also be a string. And let's put Donald Trump's full name into here. So Donald Trump's first name is Donald and Trump. And then we just want to declare our final variable, which is full name. And full name will be equal to first name plus a space and then last name. And then we can just go ahead and print this out. We'll have one final line that prints out full name. Full name. So right now, if we run this code, as you see, there will be no output from this program that we have created. And now that is because when you declare your function, if your function is not called, your function will not do anything. It'll just sit there until it is called. So if we want to print Donald Trump's full name, then we will just call our function. And in order to call a function, you'll first type in your function's name. In our case, it's create full name. And then you'll want to type in a set of parentheses. And now if we run our code, then our output would be Donald Trump, which is the name, our full name right here. And for these warnings that I see over here, these 3 warnings, I'll just have to change my variables to constants. And after that, my error will disappear. And the last thing I want to talk about is about scope and about how you cannot use the variables and constants you have declared inside of this function outside of the function. So let's say we want to print Donald Trump's first name. We don't want his full name, we just want his first name. If we tried printing first name from this create full name function, there's going to be an error because of scope. The variables and constants created inside of a function can only be used locally. So they can only be used inside of the function itself. Like, for example, you cannot use this variable that we have created in this playground in another playground. So yeah, that's just a little about scope. But if we really wanted to know Donald Trump's first name, what we could do is we could just go ahead and declare first name outside of our function. So we could create a constant and call it first name and set it to Donald, and just delete this inside of our function. And now if we try printing out first name, then we will have Donald printed out. And also if we try calling this function right here, we will still have our Donald Trump's full name printed out. So as you see here, we have our wanted full name printed out onto our console. And that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and please share this video if it was useful for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next video!